Unai Emery's Clareton Blue Army. Unai Emery is addicted to Aston Villa. Powerful stuff from Unai Emery on social media, well, after the game. And if any of you haven't seen it, it was class. Justin, weren't his little thing class, his little paragraph he wrote?
It was. I woke up and saw it in the morning, and I don't know. It was quite emotional reading it, to be honest, because the picture, the setting, the way he's obviously framed himself, looking at the ground. I think what he's trying to build. I know this is what we're going to talk about here, but it's the fact that he's trying to bring the fans in to his vision, and he's involving us from the start with these little things he's doing, and the way he talks in press conferences. Even the way after the Stevenage game, when we both was annoyed, weren't we, after that game, when we both were sort of saying we need an apology, because it was such a rubbish performance, and he straight away apologised to the fans. He said, I'm sorry. So the way he's trying to integrate himself with us is so important for the growth of us as a club overall. But yeah, that it was brilliant.
Well,
I'll
read it if anybody hasn't seen it. So this was what Unai Emery wrote. Villa Park at midnight after a tough battle. I was thinking that this is really a home, not a stadium. After the loss in the FA Cup, our fans welcomed us with full confidence and unconditional support. It was one of the keys for the winning against a very good opponent. We are building a team, and it's easier to do if we feel the positive energy that every single fan at Villa Park is giving us. Players are totally committed to the club. They are working hard. We are Aston Villa, and we are stronger together. A family. Hashtag UTV addiction. And
he obviously watches the pod, doesn't he?
I just feel like that is just... Anyone that knows me, anybody that knows us on this channel, know that we live and breathe Villa. And for our manager to be this invested in the club, not just for his own personal game, for himself to improve, for him to succeed at Villa, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that he wants to bring everything together, the fan base. He wants the vibe at Villa Park to be massive. And I just feel like something's bubbling here, and something is bubbling that's really, really good. And when I read that, I literally, like, the hair stood up on my skin when I read it, because I was just like, it's powerful. He's after the game and he's at a bottle and he's reminiscing, and it's just brilliant, Justin. And I think we couldn't have asked for a better start. I know we went out in the cup, but we couldn't have asked for a better start, and we couldn't have asked for a better manager, and a manager that grasps the club already, and he grasps what we're about, and he knows that we're an important part, and he probably does feel that we've been sort of cast to one side a little bit, and there is that little bit of a disconnect and everything. So I think the fact that he's brought us all together, it's absolutely fantastic, and it's only gonna, this love with Emery and it's only gonna grow, isn't it?
Yeah, I put a tweet out. I sort of clocked that. I put a tweet out yesterday stating about that, and I said it's great to finally have a manager who gets us. And I had to actually delete that and repost it, because it was a bit unfair on Dean Smith, because he was a manager that got us, didn't he? He got the club, he got the fan base, he integrated us into what he was building, and it worked, didn't it? That was so important with our growth at that time, which we needed, that reconnection with the club as a fan base, to the players, to the stadium, to what we were trying to do. And it was brilliant. We went along on that journey, fantastic, with Dean Smith. And that come to an end, and then we look then, obviously, to try and build on what we'd achieved and go to the next level. And I think this is where Steven Gerrard failed, because he didn't understand that connection between us and the club. He sort of almost disconnected us from it. And that's where the problem started to come, because there was an us and them starting to grow, wasn't there? So to nip that in the bud, and the next manager we bring in be this manager, Unai Emery, that immediately understands the importance the fans have within a football club. And the key two words for me in that whole statement were a family. Now, this has been a big thing for him now over the last, week, really, the build up to this game, the fallout from the Wolves' poor performance and the Stevenage poor performance. A few questions were asked, not necessarily about him, but us as a club, and the people were getting a bit annoyed. Me more so, I'll hold my hands up. Really annoyed with some of the players that, they just wasn't performing, and to go out against the lower league opposition was so disappointing.
No, I think that was though. I think for me as well, I was more annoyed that they were letting Emery down.
Yeah.
Not only letting the fans down, but they were letting Emery down, and that's where I had a bit of a problem as well. So I think that's what I'd like to add to your little point.
No, I agree, but the way he's addressed that, and the way he's come out in the press and he's spoken to us, the fans, it's been brilliant. I've been wholly obviously behind him since he came in. But in the first couple of months, you're sort of really learning about a manager. We knew Unai Emery from his CV. We knew Unai Emery from a distance. We've watched the video clips of him at Villarreal when they're walking back into the training room. He's patting them all back, and he's got this really strong bond with his players. And everybody speaks so highly of him. But as a fan base, you only get to truly engage with that personality and that persona when he's your manager and you've had him for a while, and we've had him now for a couple of months. So we're getting to understand him more now, and it's amazing to see the way he works. And he's not rewriting the rule book. He's just engaging with the fan base, and he's doing it on a level where we can connect with him immediately. And the words he's saying, we are a family. That's what supporting a football club is for me. It's the most important part of it, is us as a fan base. We're a family. We're a family of fans that follow this club and love them unconditionally. So to have a manager that has bought into that, and he wants to bring us along with him, because he sees the importance of getting the fans on his side and on the players' side. Because then when you do get the odd dodgy performance or the odd blip, you don't just discard your family if something goes wrong with some of them, do you? You get behind them and you support them and you back them, and you try and get it right again. And this is what we've got to do as a club, and those poor performances led into this week, running up to this game, and the wording he was using and Leeds, and it wasn't a perfect performance against Leeds by any stretch of imagination. It wasn't great. There was parts of it we were like, oh God, we were under the cosh here again. But we won the game, and then afterwards for him to realise the importance of again, such an important tool for a club, social media, to get it out there and get the words out there. But we've got a manager now that understands that, and it was perfect timing for me, absolutely perfect timing. Everybody I've spoken to that's read it and saw it, they've loved it. They're absolutely, totally, falling in love with him, really, I suppose, is the only thing you can say. And long may it continue, because it is going to be a long journey. It's not going to happen overnight. I've come to that realisation over the last probably 2 weeks, really, I think, for me, that, he hasn't got a magic wand. He's not a magician. Things will go wrong.
He is.
Well, he is, but you know what I mean? It's overall, it's going to be a process to get it right. And I've never been more sure that we've got the right manager than I ever have been in my lifetime following the Villa.
Right, so let's have a little look at some of the stuff he has done. So on the left, you've got before Emery came to Aston Villa, and on the right, you've got us currently. So you look at 6 games now, because this was before the game. So we were points tally after 5 games. We were sitting 6th. We're now sitting higher because we won that game. If you have a look at the goals we've scored, we were sitting sixth. We'd scored 11 goals in however many games, and then under Emery we've scored 9. I want to have a look at this bit down here. Distance covered per game. We're now sitting 7th in the Premier League, where we were sitting 18th. So you can see with that stat that the side is working harder. Shots faced per game, we were sitting 13th. Now we're sitting 4th, only having 9.4 shots per game. So already on that right-hand side, it's now starting to look a lot better, and that's in 6 games. So you can already see that there's key things that we're starting to see in an Unai Emery side. And I want to touch on this was Ezri Konsa, and I've spoke about Konsa and Ming's partnership looking better. He won 3 out of 3 tackles, 2 out of 2 aerial duels, 44 passes completed, 5 clearances, 3 interceptions. And what I'm starting to see now is on that football pitch, we're starting to win our battles all over the pitch. You're looking at players like Boubacar Kamara winning all his battles, Ashley Young winning most of his. We're now on the end of positive numbers as opposed to losing our battles. And there's characteristics in the side that I'm really liking. So it's looking really, really good. And I did want to come on here and I did want to come on and praise Emery, because I think he deserves it, if I'm being honest, because in the short space of time that he's been here, I'm starting to see things that I haven't seen as a Villa fan before. And I think that's brilliant. We've beaten, look at the games we've had, 6 games. We've beat Manchester United, who've beat Man City yesterday, who look brilliant. We've beat Brighton, who have just turned over Liverpool.
Yeah.
We've beat Spurs, who are sitting in 4th place. We should have got something against Liverpool. So in those games, we've played really good sides. We played a Wolves side rejuvenated under Lopetegui. We did well to get a point from that. Leeds, a difficult team. And when he spoke about all the different challenges from each team, when we go to Southampton at the weekend, that'll be a difficult game. That'll be difficult in itself, because they're now going to be buoyant after beating Everton. So, just because they're down the bottom, it's all different challenges. And I'm more than, I know that Emery's going to have a plan, and we're going to be a match for any side in this league. And I think it's brilliant. So, what are your thoughts after Leeds then, Justin?
Yeah, I think, now we've got a couple of days to sort of digest it a bit more. We were obviously buzzing with the win, and it wasn't a perfect performance by any stretch. We got the early goal, and I really thought we would kick on and just control the game. And to be fair to Leeds, and you have to always speak as you see it, they were really good in that first half. They just kept coming for us, didn't they? And coming. The only surprising thing was at half-time, when I checked the stats, that we'd had more possession, which, my eyes must have been... It's funny sometimes when you sort of think something, but actually you look at the stats. But I think that was because the possession we had was all based sort of around our penalty box, wasn't it? And we didn't have a lot of possession in their final third. So our attacking output wasn't great. But I thought we stuck in the game. We did what we had to do to not concede. I was getting really worried after sort of half an hour that at some point, every Premier League team, given enough possession, will create something. And then we got the brick wall at the back, with Martinez, and that's kept him out. And then we got the second, and I thought we were much improved in the second half. And it was a good game. I think what the fans have got to do is probably do what, and we'll probably do it quicker than the players, to be honest, is just trust the manager that if things aren't going right, that we've got somebody that's looking at it with real focused eyes and that can say, okay, this isn't going right, lads, let's get in at half time and let's sort this out. Let's work out another plan on how we can tweak it and change it and be more positive in the second half. And I think we all sort of already appreciate that now, whereas with other managers, when we start poorly in a game or be 1-0 down at half time, we're already probably just fearing the worst. We're going to lose the game now. But I now have got full faith that we might not go on and win all the games. We might not, always pull back from poor performances in the first half. But I would now say that more often than not, if things aren't going well, we've got a manager that can change the game and can influence the game if the players trust what he's trying to do. And I think they are starting to really believe in what he's doing. And there's no more so way of trusting than looking at the results on the pitch. And in his first 6 games, results wise and points wise, it's been really phenomenal, to be honest, because we have had a real tough run of fixtures against teams that are up there at the moment. And Wolves a local derby, Leeds notoriously a tough game for us, that they seem to always raise their game. Brighton away are flying, like you said. Man United at home, we haven't beaten them for a long time. Spurs away, really tough place to go, full of world-class players. So you can't really underestimate and pin the quality that we've actually seen already. And I think we'd all also admit that it hasn't been perfect along the way. The Wolves performance wasn't great overall. The Leeds performance overall wasn't amazing. So we're picking results up while not playing at our best. Andy has only added 1 player, which will change as well. There's players on the bench that won't really be here in the next 12, 18 months. And you can only see us improving the squad, obviously, over time. But it's time that he needs now to really stamp it all over the squad, get 3 or 4 players in this window and next window. And I think the Villa we'll see in 12 months' time will be even a lot different on the pitch to the Villa we're seeing now, because I think that's, the sort of timescale you need to really evolve a club properly and to ingrain it in every sort of aspect of everything that you do on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah, and Moreno came on and made his debut, and it took about 15-ish minutes to get into it, didn't he? I said on the match reaction that if you want to know the pace of the Premier League, you ain't gonna get anything worse than Leeds, are you? Because they're a mile an hour, and I felt like he really grew into it. And when that shot he had, I thought that was in. I did. He's rapid, isn't he? He's so fast.
Yeah.
He looks.
I think he is. Yeah, I think I felt a bit sorry for him when he was called upon so soon, because I think had he played from the start, he would have known with plenty of time, and he would have been able to sort of get himself ready for, right, I'm making my debut, I'm starting the game, I've got to be up. So to come on really soon in the game, he wouldn't have been expecting that. So he really had to get up to speed. And I do think he was a little bit dodgy for the first 15, 20 minutes, but I don't think that's a surprise, really, given we had to come on and sort of get going straight away. But I thought once he sort of settled in, he looked really good. Defensively, he was decent. He put a really good block in when I think that they went round Martinez, and he got back and cleared it off the line. And then going forward, you can see the outlet that he is, that he's rapid. He's got a really good left foot. He looks to get forward. He looks to play these little 1-2s down the flank as well. And he's got a decent ball into the box as well. And he looks to break through the middle as well, because there was that chance he had when he just drove at their back line, played a little 1-2. And if you do, foot for a better effort, he could have scored in his debut. So you can see why Emery's made him his first signing. And whilst I do feel a bit for Lucas Digne, because he was obviously, I think everybody was expecting Lucas Digne to sort of step aside straight away, but he showed faith in Lucas Digne, which is good to see as well. And it's unlucky that he's got this injury, but we've signed a ready-made replacement, haven't we? So he looks like he's going to, get the chance to establish himself almost straight away. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do over the next for the rest of the season, really.
Cool. Right, we'll wrap it up there then. I wanted to just come on and have a little chat with you about Emery and a little bit of a debrief-ish after the Leeds game. So we'll be back for our match content for Southampton away next week. And then if we've got any transfer news, we'll be on it. We'll be on it. Hopefully there's a little bit of Guendouzi news dropping or flying around if we've made any progress with that one. So, isn't it nice to enjoy your weekend knowing that you've won on a Friday night? It's great.
Amazing.
So thanks everyone for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa. Up the Emery.